A few things that I like to do and colleagues at CBI like to do when we try to talk about this, raising awareness of culture as these unspoken assumptions trading game. I don't know if several colleagues may know it, where people are assigned a couple of rules that they need to follow before they can make a trade with someone else. Things like you must invite the person to sit down and the person must sit down before you can make a trade. And it is a wonderful icebreaker game. It generally sparks a great conversation about the things that we don't think about being norms, that are norms in the way that we interact. We picking up on a point that Alain made, we generally try in an analytic sense to characterize the mutual gains approach as analytics that are universally applicable. That is, we care about interests and badness and options and all that good stuff. But the way that we interact to try and move through a process to identify those joint gains is very culturally dependent, and we need to think carefully, as Eileen so well put it, about our own partisan perceptions and about the assumptions on both sides. We ask people to be self-reflective, characterize themselves, and characterize their cultural norms around tough, soft, and smart negotiators. Which one is better and why or when? What happens when somebody on the other side is different? How does that factor into the way you negotiate? We do use role play using culture as an issue, and we try to debrief on it. And then we try to surface with them experiences that they have had, pulling out their own lessons of experience, and I think importantly, thinking about, yes, emphasizing clarity. Again, Eileen's point about low context clarity versus high context, why are you talking about this? It's inappropriate. And making that judgment call about when and how to acknowledge cultural differences. And I don't believe there is a right answer to that question. I am a bit of a skeptic myself about culture as predictive of behavior and negotiation relative to all the things that Susan and others have named. I don't know how good the evidence base is on this, basically because I've stopped reading. But I'm curious. I hope we can have some discussion about what is the evidence of culture as predictive of behavior and negotiation relative to other factors, individual and situational. How do we teach about culture without becoming stereotyping ourselves and encouraging our students to do the same? And yes, Larry's initial question, okay, so maybe the world isn't that flat, maybe culture does matter, but equally, what about like net culture and netizens and these folks under 30 who really are different in idiom and practice? Because they don't make Last of the Mohicans references, they make YouTube references, and you really need to be up to the minute on what today's YouTube cool reference is. So I just want to note the extent to which I feel like we are in a very rapidly evolving world with regard to culture, and acknowledge my own ignorance about what the implications might be.